wanna know what's really going on, search for the answers and question it all. Turn your televisions off, cause you're being brainwashed. Brainwashed. If you wanna know what's really going on, search for the answers and question it all. Turn your televisions off, cause you're being brainwashed.
It doesn't make sense. Fix it. Should have been one school shooting, and we should have fixed it. And I'm pissed, because my daughter I'm not going to see again. She's not here. She's not here. She's in North Lauderdale at whatever it is, King David Cemetery. That's where I go to see my kid now. The Department of Education that I walked in today, that has a security guard in the elevator. How do you think that makes me feel? In the elevator, they got a security guard.
Sad fact.
I'm very angry that this happened, because it keeps happening. 9/11 happened once, and they fixed everything. How many schools, how many children have to get shot? It stops here with this administration and me. I'm not gonna sleep until it's fixed.
I lost a best friend, who's practically a brother. And I'm here to use my voice because I know he can't. And I know he's with me, cheering me on to be strong, but it's hard. I want to feel safe at school. You know, senior year and junior year, they were big years for me when I turned my academics around, started connecting with teachers, and I started actually enjoying school. And now, I don't know how I'm ever gonna step foot on that place again, or go to a public park after school, or be walking anywhere. Me and my friends, we get scared when a car drives by. Anywhere. How is it that easy to buy this type of weapon? How do we not stop this after Columbine, after Sandy Hook? I'm sitting with a mother that lost her son. It's still happening.
Again, thank you for your ideas, thank you for your thoughts, thank you for pouring out your hearts, because the world is watching, and we're going to come up with a solution.
Welcome back to another broadcast over here at the Ellis Network. Now guys, you guys just watched this video. I'm pretty sure most of you guys have already seen this video. This video has been circulating for at least a week now. And this video was in a article that I really wanted to bring out for you guys, which most of you guys already know. This is from The Guardian, and it's talking about the video game violence and even movies and what President Trump is saying about it. Guys, I want to state my opinion on this real quick, on the video game debate. I voted for President Trump. Okay, I support a lot that he does. I'm behind him a bunch. But I will also be fair. I do not agree with his opinion on video game violence. Now, are there video games that are violent? Absolutely, guys. You guys got Gears of War, which I play. You know, Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, Resident Evil. You know, there's violence in almost every video game that you play. And then we got children games. You know, you have, you know, Minecraft and Roblox, and, you know, there's games online that kids can play that's very kid-friendly, I shall say. But the sad fact is that, you know, they're attacking the video games that's really violent. They're talking about games where you can get your hands on guns, shoot people, blood, guts, swear words, and even as far as, you know, sexual content. And here's the thing, guys. I see it all over social media that this is starting to become another debate. A lot of people, you know, is agreeing with video games being too violent. A lot of people is disagreeing with video games being too violent. Now, I will say that, yes, video games are violent. Okay, I will be 100% honest, 100% fair when I say that. But let me go ahead and give you my opinion and my defense on this whole debate. Now, we know most of these violent games that people are trying to attack, you know, Grand Theft Auto. You know, Grand Theft Auto is one of the major ones I see. In Call of Duty, Battlefield, there's just so many. Gears of War. And Gears of War is one of those really, really violent, gory gruesome games. You know, you can pick up a, you know, an assault rifle with a chainsaw on it. You can run up to someone and hack them up in half. You know, blood and guts flying everywhere, dripping down the screen. And yes, that's a very violent game. And the sad fact is our children, you know, our kids, the next generation of young adults, are being subjected to this. Okay, now, guys, listen, I played video games my whole life. I'm 32 years old. I was born in 1985. In my generation, my very first game controller I picked up was the original Nintendo. You guys remember, I think it was released back in 1984. And I've watched the evolution of video games. You know, the new hardware coming out, the new systems, the new games. And with the new systems coming out, you know, we're having new technology that can, you know, showcase, you know, all the bad aspects a lot better. You know, whether or not it's in 4K or the audio is better or just, you know, video games look amazing. And then we have these individuals, you know, these younger kids that's, you know, getting online. They're playing, you know, Call of Duty. They're playing Gears of War. And, guys, I'm going to be honest, you know, like I said, I play video games here at my own house. I have video game systems. My kids have their own video game systems. My two oldest have their own Xbox 360s. I have an Xbox One. But anyways, guys, I really want to put my opinion. And again, this is my opinion on this whole debate. Some of you guys may agree with me, some of you guys may not, and that's okay. But my generation, guys, I was raised around, you know, like Super Mario, Nintendo. And then it came out with Sega. You know, we had like Sonic the Hedgehog and stuff like that. And then as I got older, you know, video games progressed and got a little bit more detailed. You know, with the PlayStation coming out, we had fighting games like Street Fighter, Battle Arena Toshinden, and even as far as war games coming out, you know, we had SOCOM. SOCOM 2, if you guys think about it, that was like one of the very first console online multiplayer games. It wasn't very, very big. What really kicked it off was Halo 2 for Xbox Live on the original Xbox. That's what really pioneered the whole online gaming community, and that's where games kind of took more of a toll towards, you know, really showcasing, pitting people online against other people. You know, back in my generation, we had friends that sat on the couch with us. And then it evolved to where we was able to link our consoles up together and have multiple people playing. And then you had, you know, Xbox Live come out, and then PlayStation brought out PlayStation Network and everything else. But really quick, guys, you know, again, my generation, I grew up with Nintendo. Games wasn't as bad back then. But I also grew up with movies. You know, I grew up watching Terminator. You guys, my parents would tell you I was the only 2-year-old on the in the block that would be able to identify the Terminator movie, put it into the VCR, play it, rewind it, and replay it. You know, I was 2 years old and I knew how to operate my VCR. Guys, I grew up around that stuff. You know, I grew up around Terminator, Friday the 13th, the original Friday the 13th. You know, Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy, Hellraiser, Puppet Masters. You know, I mean, I grew up around, you know, that kind of stuff. I was exposed to that kind of stuff. Now, I'm not going out and I'm not, you know, murdering people. I'm not going out and getting confused between reality and make-believe, virtual world, or whatever you want to call it. But I do want to say that, you know, the big debate is that these video games are too violent and the kids are getting their hands on it. So they want to attack the video game industry. And we've done this before, guys. A couple years back, you know, if you guys remember, back on PlayStation 2 when Grand Theft Auto, what was it, San Andreas came out. It came out for a little bit, and then they had to pull it off the shelves and, you know, clean it up a little bit because it was too violent, or not too violent, but the swear words, and there was a bunch of stuff that was in the original game that they had to pull back because society looked at it as, and it was just a big no. And then as that whole diabolical, you know, evolved, we also gained the rating system on video games. Nowadays, I don't know if you guys know, you know, me being 32 years old, if I go into the store and I want to buy the new Gears of War game or the new Call of Duty game, it has a rated M mature rating on it. you know, at the very bottom of the case, you know, it says rated M plus 17. You have to be 17 years old to buy these games. I don't see any 12-year-old, I don't see any 13-year-old that's getting their birthday money, or they're out there working summer jobs to afford, you know, these games. They're not able to go into the game store and buy these games. Just simply, it doesn't matter if they got the money or not. So what do? They hand the money to their parents. The parents go out and get their games, or they wait for Christmas, and the parents want to keep their kids up to date on the new video games, and they go out and they buy these video games. These kids open these video games up for Christmas, and next you know, bam, you know, kids are happy. You know, their parents are the best. Yeah, I hear you. I got a 1 terabyte external. So anyways, guys, we can sit here and point fingers at video games all day long. We could sit here and point fingers at movies all day long. Me personally, guys, I don't think that's the case. I don't think we need to attack an industry that's already been attacked before and put things into place to try to help that. Again, like the rating system. You know, you have rated E for everyone, you know, like Minecraft, Roblox. You know, then you have games like for T for teen, and then rated M for mature. Same as movies, you know, you can't be a 13-year-old kid and walk into a rated R movie, not unless you're accompanied by someone that's 17 or older. Again, parents are taking these kids out, they're ignoring the rating system, and even if they're not ignoring them, you know, they're taking into consideration, you know, there's not enough education afterwards that's going into this. Guys, I'm going to be honest, and a lot of you guys may not agree with me, but, you know, I let my kids play these video games. You know, my son, he's 6 years old. He'll play Call of Duty with me. The thing is, here, guys, is one, all of these violent video games I get for myself. Alright, I'm an adult. Just because I have kids in this house, I'm not going to stop doing what I love doing. But my kid will sit there, he'll watch me play. And once in a while, you know, I'll let him get on split screen with me, and we'll run a few matches together. And that's, you know, I'm spending time with my kid, basically. Also, at the same time, I'm educating my child as well while we're playing these video games. Hey, Bubby, you know, if you pick up a gun, you know, in a video game, you don't go out in real life and do that. You know, you'll get in trouble, or you'll end up dead. You know, life is not a video game. You can't just put down a controller and think that, you know, just what you've done on the video game, you can go out and do in real life. You know, Grand Theft Auto. You go out, you steal cars. Well, the cops start chasing you. What happens? You get arrested. Well, in the video game, when you get arrested, you know, a couple seconds later, you show up outside of the police department with less than $500 taken out of your bank account, and bam, you're back out on the street. You know, I told my kid it don't work like that. You know, there's a big difference between video games and reality, and I think the whole problem is there's the whole lack of education in the home. Again, like I said, Christmas time, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, birthdays, you know, parents and aunts and uncles and even older siblings, they're going out and buying these games or these movies for their younger siblings or their younger children and giving it to them. You know, next you know, the parents, you know, won the parent of the year award. They got their video game systems upstairs. Parents aren't paying attention to exactly what they're, you know, putting their kids in front of, and then no one's actually you know, sitting down and talking to their kids about these video games. You know, my son, you know, and guys, there's silver linings in the whole thing. You guys can sit here and, you know, disagree with me letting my kids play these video games. Now, I will be honest, there's certain video games that I do feel like it's too far. Gears of War, for instance. I would not let my kids play Gears of War. Me and my wife, that's a game that we play. However, we don't play it until the kids go to bed. We make sure the kids are all tucked in. Why? Because of the amount of violence that's in it. Now, I do believe that, you know, that game is, even though, you know, I could talk to them all day about it, but just the content, you know, me walking up and, you know, the gore of it, you know, me chainsawing bad guys in half and watching blood go all over the screen, you know, that's a little too gory, you know, and that's something that I would not let my kids watch. But, you know, Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty. You know, Call of Duty is great, as a matter of fact. You know, one, because you're spending time with your child. And the new Call of Duty that's out now is World War II. And it's based on historical events that's happened. You know, World War II. It starts off on the beaches of Normandy with D-Day. And when my kids are playing these video games, you know, it was a great way to start talking about the history of it. You know, letting them know that, yes, this is a video game, but this video game is based on stuff that happened in real life. And my 6-year-old didn't understand that until one day I sat down and we put in Saving Private Ryan. And you guys remember the scene from D-Day on that movie. You know, he recognized it quick. He's like, Dad, that's like Call of Duty. That's like the Call of Duty game that you play. And I said, well, yeah, bud. You know, that, because it happened in real life. You know, 10,000, you know, soldiers died on that beach. You know, a lot of 18-year-old kids. You know, life is not like video games. You know, you don't get, you know, unlimited lives. In Call of Duty, you don't get shot and die and then, you know, respawn with new health. You know, in real life, you get shot once and you die, it's game over. You know, there is no unlimited lives. There's no respawns. Also, at the same time, you know, you gotta take into account that these are video games. It's an escape from reality, and this is kind of where the whole mental health issue comes into play. Because I will be fair, you know, there are mental health issues out there where individuals are over the age of 17 that are able to buy these games and take them home and play them, but they still have the mentality, the brain span of, let's say, a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old. You know, their maturity doesn't evolve like their age. So maybe if we can, you know, try to implement something like that, but I don't think going straight after the video games and trying to dumb down video games is the key. Again, like I said, guys, all of this happens at home. You know, we have to educate our children. We have to pay attention to what our children are doing. You know, when I was a kid, guys, you know, I had a playroom. You know, it was a separate room off in the back, me and my sister. And that's where my Nintendo sat. But my parents wasn't out buying violent video games. I'll be honest, you know, there really wasn't a whole lot of violence in video games back then. You had maybe Contra. You know, that's, and I'm sure that there's more of them, guys. I'm not thinking. You know, maybe if I sat down and wrote my scripts out, you know, write a script out for my shows, you know, maybe I can bring a lot more information. But, you know, most of my shows, well, actually all my shows, I hit record on the microphone and I just play it. But, anyways, like I said, guys, we go out, we buy these video games, ignoring the warning labels. We wrap them up, hand them to our kids. They unwrap them, and next you know they're freaking out because they got the new Call of Duty. They're calling their friends over. They're saying, "Hey, come play this, come play this." And next you know they go upstairs or they go in their room, shut the doors, and our kids are gone for 6-7 hours. A lot of parents nowadays would think that's a good thing. Like, oh man, my kids are quiet. I can get some stuff done. You know, I can clean the house. I can focus on, you know, being lazy and watching TV without any interruptions. Or maybe I can go out and do some yard work. You know, and next you know, these kids are in their bedrooms, you know, 6-7 hours playing these games. Kids are coming out and, you know, telling their parents, oh, I had good games. You know, I went like 24-5 and blah, 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 blah. And the parents aren't even sitting down talking to their kids about these video games. Not letting them know, like, all right, listen, guys, this is just a video game. All right, what you guys do in real life, you know, you don't take stuff that you do in video games and go outside and do that. You know, I can understand maybe if you know, you're picking up toy guns, you know, and you're acting like Army men, maybe. But, you know, when I start seeing my kids throwing, you know, acorns acting like they're grenades, and, you know, that's a perfect opportunity for you to intervene, to sit your child down, to let them understand that, you know, this is real life. Alright, you guys are playing Call of Duty and make believe, or whether or not you guys are on the, you know, the computers. You guys are on Xboxes or PlayStations or Nintendos, or hell, even, you know, I've caught my kid, there's a couple times nowadays, this generation, I don't understand it. You know, this generation of kids, they get on YouTube and watch other people live stream these games. And there's not a whole lot of parents that's understanding that. You know, I'll be cleaning up the house. I'll be doing dishes. and something like that. And the way I have my Xbox set up is through my surround sound. And the kid, he'll hop on Xbox and he'll turn on YouTube. And there's a lot of channels that he does watch, you know, that are kid friendly. There's a couple kids that play Minecraft that my kids will sit there and watch, and they'll learn how to, you know, do certain things in the game. But also at the same time, you know, there's certain videos where I catch something off the side and I turn around and find out what my kid's watching. I have to tell them to shut it off. And then I explain why. Again, guys, we have to, just because, you know, you go out and buy these games and give them to your children's hand doesn't mean that, hey, you know what, now get out of my hair, I'm going to go do what I want. I want to go get my nails done, or, you know, get my hair done. And that's for you mothers, or, you know, the fathers that want to sit there and be like, okay, now I got time to, you know, sit down and watch TV, or go work on the car, or, you know, go out and work in the yard. You know, I mean, guys, you guys have to take, you know, if you guys are buying these video games and ignoring the warning labels, you know, you have to take that extra step to educate your child in what you're playing. Just because you have a child and you have a device that pretty much babysits your child now, and guys, this has been a debate for years, you know, children watching too much TV. Parents would rather, you know, shove their kids in front of TVs and not be a parent. You know, let the TVs do it. Or let the video games, you know, babysit our kids. But again, like I said, the kids are playing X amount of hours of these video games. No one's talking to them. No one's finding out, you know, if these kids are developing some kind of different reality. And to say, you know, it is a video game fault. Again, if we actually would just stop for a minute and maybe play one of these games with our children and talk to them while we're playing these games, you know, educate your children. You know, that could be the problem. Again, I'm not 100%. I'm basing my opinion on how I do my own thing. Again, I let my kids play video games here in this house, and me and my wife both, we take our time. We educate our kids on regardless whatever they're doing. Now, you know, I'm gonna be honest, Minecraft, I don't know jack shit about that game. I know there's a lot of adults that play it. I know that there's a lot of kids that play it. When it comes to Minecraft, my kids will be sitting out there and they're playing Minecraft. Dad, we did this, we did that. And I'm just like, because I just don't understand it. But then again, you know, when I sit down and play video games, you know, I'm playing like Call of Duty. I'm playing, you know, Gears of War. And again, like I said, I don't play Gears of War in front of them just because of how extensive it really is. You know, I'm not ready for that. But Call of Duty, you know, why do I let my son play Call of Duty? Well, because it's a great way for me to sit down and educate my child on what's going on. And, you know, a couple days ago, my kid said that he wanted to be a soldier like Call of Duty. And that was a good time for me to step in and, you know, I felt like it was a good time to have a conversation with him to make him understand that, you know, yes, there are people that, you know, join the military and they go to war. The thing is what you're playing in the video games, it don't go like that. You know, a lot of people, you know, they die. And the difference in reality and video games is in video games you get to come back to life. In reality, real life, you don't. So, you know, you being 6 years old, I want you to understand that, you know, you got a lot to live before you even have to make a decision like that. And as soon as, you know, he sat down, like I said earlier, you know, we sat down and we watched that video of Saving Private Ryan. And they were on the beaches of Normandy and people were getting, he's like, Dad, that's in your video game. I said, yeah, son, because this really happened in real life. You know, his eyes got big for a minute. And that, again, like I said, that was a perfect opportunity for me to sit down and have a discussion with my child. I don't think pointing fingers at video games because they're getting too violent is the problem. Again, we have rating systems put into place that years ago parents were arguing that statement, and the video game industry took the extra steps to put rating systems on their games, and everything was fine and dandy. Now that we're having, you know, school shootings, you know, kids bringing guns to schools, you know, and it's either a mental health issue, it's a gun control issue, or now it's a video game issue. But no one, you know, the parents don't want to take accountability. You have to sit down. If you're going to put your kids in front of something, you have to take the extra time to educate them. Alright, you gotta let them know that this is, the difference between fake and, real and fake. You gotta, you sit down, you talk to them after they play these video games. You can start sensing a change in their moral code, I guess I shall say. And you can catch the problem way before it even starts, way before it becomes a problem. Again, not every parent's like me, and I'm basing my opinion, what I'm saying to you guys, based on what I do every day here in my house with my children. Again, like I said a couple of videos ago, I asked my 6-year-old and my 9-year-old, because it's a sad fact. My kids were talking about a drill that they did in school. If a bad man came into the school with a gun, and I hate that we have to have talks with our children about this kind of stuff. But I asked them, guys, let me ask you guys a question. If a bad man walks into the school and he starts shooting the place up, do you blame the gun or do you blame the person? And my 6-year-old and my 9-year-old both said, it's the person. It's not the gun's fault. No, it's not the gun's fault. It's the person. So how do we identify that? Do we just, do we ruin it for a bunch of people that actually obey the law and play these video games and enjoy them and know the difference between right and wrong? Or do we appease the simple fact that, there's parents out there that just shove these video games on their kids to get them out of their hair? I think we need to talk to these parents. I think the parents need to be more aware of the type of video games, especially parents and grandparents out there that's buying these video games for their kids or their grandkids that don't play video games themselves. They don't understand the consequences of long term. They don't understand that if you put your kid in front of something for so long without communicating with the child, then we could also have a few issues. Again, guys, that's just my opinion. I'll post a link in the description. This article right here is from The Guardian, and it's talking about how no, Mr. Trump, video games do not cause mass shootings. And this is from Catherine Cross. It's just an opinion, something I agree with. I don't really agree with we need to tone down violence in video games. Again, we already tried this by putting rating systems onto these video games. Again, you gotta be 17 years old to buy these games, and a lot of parents are probably ignoring the fact that it's a rated immature game, and they're not doing enough to educate their child on these games. Now, you have every right to, that game's too violent, I don't want you watching it. Just like you have every right to lock out the internet and put parental locks on your kids' cell phones and all this other stuff. Well, again, when you do that, you have to have a discussion with your child, telling them why. Well, if you're going to let your kids play these video games, and guys, and I say it like that because, again, like I play Call of Duty, and I play online, and Call of Duties usually come out around November. Every year, a new Call of Duty game comes out. And right after Christmas, you get to see a major jump in the population players online. And when you're on the headset and you're talking to individuals, your age, me and my buddies, we grew up playing video games, and there's a lot of us. I live in Youngstown. I got a buddy that lives in Conneaut. I got friends that live out in California. I got friends that live, in Minnesota. And that's the one thing that we could still get together and do every night is we get together and we play video games. It's a great way for all of us to stay in contact. And when we get on these video games where it's a mature game, now I get that there's shit talking. Also, that's another thing, parents, you guys got to think about when you guys are putting these kids online for a rated mature game. You're putting them in front of adults that can swear, that say a lot of vulgar things. Me and my friends, after Christmas time, we tend to just go into party chats because the whole lobbies are filled with 12-year-olds that want to throw up the your mama jokes and, just stupid crap. I can't tell you how many kids I hear swearing on video games. And it's just like, where's your mom at? Like, does your mom not hear you swearing? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if I ever heard any of my kids at that age talking shit, to anyone over Xbox Live. I don't care if it's over Xbox Live or not. My kid ain't going to disrespect nobody like that. Dropping the F-bomb or, talking about someone's mom being fat. I'll beat the shit out of my kid for talking to someone. I won't beat the shit out of him, but I'll definitely smack him around a little bit and let him, what the hell are you doing? You're 12 years old. Again, we got to pay attention to what our kids are doing. We have to sit there and educate our children on the things that they are witnessing. Alright, guys. Again, some of you guys may agree with my opinion. Some of you guys may not. That's okay, too. I appreciate you guys listening to me, and I'll see you guys later.